I clicked you. There it goes. All right. Hi, and we're rolling. Hi, this is Laurie.
This is Peter.
And we have our special guest. Ryan is back to join us for a review of DC latest superhero film,
The Flash, the
Flash.
okay.
The the Flash. The Flash starring. I have no notes on it. Starring Ezra Miller. We have Ben Affleck as Batman. We have who else?
Michael Keaton.
We have
as Batman.
Michael Keaton as Batman. We have
Better not spoil it.
better not spoil it. Anyway, who else is in this? I forget. This one. Do we know who this is directed by?
Sasha
Who's someone
Kaye,
in
Supergirl.
Supergirl is in it. What's her name?
Sasha Kaye.
Okay, it's Supergirl, and we have Ezra Miller as the Flash again.
That's right.
He's flashing twice. So, yeah. So this just came out. This is DC's. I think this is their movie from the last regime. Is it the last movie before? What is his name? James Gunn, and the other guy took over and are launching it into a new. Supposed to be launching DC into a new direction. So, the Flash. Anybody? Any thoughts? Anyone want to go first?
Yes. Let me be the first. I'll flash right in there. I hated it.
Oh, straight up to the point. Wow. Don't hold anything back, Peter. What, you hated it, huh?
Well, I have a lot of little things, but actually, I want to hear what Ryan thought about it.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, in general, I like the movie. I was cool with it. Without getting into Ezra Miller's real life disturbing deeds off screen.
Oh, goodness.
Simply say, that I thought he did a good job playing both Barry Allens.
Okay.
And distinguishing between both characters. Also, I totally respect anyone who chooses not to see this movie because of Ezra Miller. With what he's done in real life off screen.
I've kind of forgotten what he's done, but I'll look it up later.
Yeah.
He did it all.
Yeah.
Well, sticking with the film, yeah, there's a lot to go over, but I'll just try to keep it, not go too long, keep it brief. Just say, I enjoyed the film in general. I liked the opening sequence. There's a bit, well, I guess we're doing spoiler warnings here. There's a bit with a baby in a microwave, which is a bit odd. That was a strange scene. The cameo, again, spoiler warning for those who haven't seen it.
Yeah, there's a lot of warnings we're going to have to put on this one. Spoiler warnings all over this, because we got to talk about this movie.
When Diana shows up, I was like, yes, and I was the only person in the theater excited to see her.
Oh, man.
Nobody else was tripping over that. I should have expected it, though, because she did the same thing in Shazam, too.
Okay.
She made
there's a spoiler. Okay, was that the... That's okay, that's fine.
I forgot about that. Don't worry, hardly anybody saw the movie anyway.
Okay.
Who's Diana?
I'm taking away your comic book card now.
I'll say both Michael Keaton as Batman and Sasha Kaye as Supergirl were really the main reasons I wanted to see this film. I was part of this generation who grew up with Michael Keaton, so he is like my favorite live-action Batman. And I thought he was awesome in the role. I wasn't sure what to expect with Sasha, but I thought she was good as Supergirl. My only complaint there was I wanted more of a knockdown, drag-out fight between her and General Zod.
Okay.
I thought it was good, but I wanted an even more grandiose battle between the two of them. And I thought her character could have used a little bit more screen time to sort of flesh out her background and allow the audience to get to know her better. I've seen a number of reviews online, and seemingly everyone is complaining about the CGI in the film at certain points, both referring to the opening sequence, I guess to the babies that are falling, but then also towards the end when we're seeing the Flash running in what director Andy Muschietti calls the Chrono Bowl, where he sees the convergence timelines intersecting.
Right.
And so people complain about the cameos we see there, whether it's like George Reeves or
Oh yeah.
Helen Slater and Christopher Reeve, Nicolas Cage, which was spoiled for me by the internet, sadly.
Oh, was it? Oh,
No, no,
I was
yeah.
not spoiled for that one. I was like, what?
I
Anyway.
wish I had been surprised. I would have loved to have seen
Yeah, I was like, really?
it. Yeah. Now, sadly, for people who are Flash fans, I'm not really one, but I know there are people who are Flash fans. Neither Grant Gustin nor John Wesley Shipp,
Mm-hmm.
who both played Flash on TV, make a cameo, which is a bit of a surprise because on the TV Arrowverse, when they did their Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover, Ezra Miller made a cameo there.
Really? I
We
didn't know
saw
that.
both Flashes together, Ezra Miller
Oh,
and Grant
wow.
Gustin. So you would have thought they would have had the reverse here. That Grant Gustin would have showed up to make a reverse cameo, but sadly that didn't happen.
Did they have Reverse Flash in here?
No, not the character, the Reverse Flash. No, the
No,
character-
I know.
Oh,
That's
I
what-
see what you're saying.
oh.
I see the joke. Last couple of things I'll just say is, there seems to have been 3 different endings with this film.
Okay.
The original ending was going to have Michael Keaton and Sasha Kaye. There's
Okay.
behind-the-scenes photos of them in front of the courthouse,
Okay.
and apparently that got cut because this movie was made under the previous regime, and they had plans to sort of replace Henry Cavill with Sasha Supergirl going
Oh,
forward.
interesting.
And they were going to have Michael Keaton kind of come in, I guess maybe kind of like a Nick Fury kind of character. They were going to have him in the Batgirl movie that got shelved, and he was going to be a mentor to the new Batgirl.
Okay.
So they were going to set them up as they were going to be in new films going forward, but that got cut. This movie debuted at CinemaCon a few months ago, and from one review I saw, at the end, we see Bruce Wayne get out of the car, but we don't see who it ends. We only see the feet of Bruce walking. And then, of course, we get the final ending that we got with the theatrical release with George Clooney,
Yeah.
which I guess nobody
Spoiler.
saw. Maybe that was due to James Gunn and his new regime saying we want the ending altered to show we have nothing to do with, Keaton and Sasha aren't going to be part of this universe going forward.
Mm-hmm.
So I will say the post-credit scene with Aquaman, I kind of wondered what was the point to that.
Yeah.
It was nice, it was funny, but it didn't seem to have much of a point. And one mystery that the film leaves open is who kills Barry's mom. I guess for fans of the character, if they've either read the comics or they watched the TV show or the animated movie Flashpoint, they all know it's Reverse Flash that kills his mother. But if you're not a fan of the character, and I'm not really a big fan of the Flash, then you don't know that. You're kind of left, in your head, well, what's going on here? I do have some thoughts on why the film didn't do well later, but I can go on to that later on. So I'll either go back to Peter or Laurie.
Okay. Did you want to express anything else, Peter, or should I dive in?
No, go ahead because I'm still processing how much I hate it.
Okay. Well, that might explain why it's didn't do too great at the box office. It's kind of tanking. But I went through it and it's like, well, I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. It was. I thought it was funny. At points, like that opening scene, at certain points, I thought it was a little tasteless, and then I saw when they completed it, it was like, okay, I see where you're going with that. That kind of like, because he's waiting around, and he's taking his time to eat snacks, because to give himself energy before saving these babies.
Wait, let me see
but
what
it
I'm
seemed
thinking.
very cavalier. And the whole saving, it was a weird scene and stuff. And so it was, I liked Michael Keaton. I like seeing Michael Keaton back, but he's an actor that I just like. And ever since we did a rewatch of Night Shift, one of his first movies where he's hilarious. And then I think about the last movie I saw him in was the one about the guy, not Ray Stevens, he's an actor. The guy who started McDonald's, he didn't invent McDonald's, but he took the local mom and pop hamburger stand and made it into this conglomerate. and stuff. And that's a fantastic movie, and he's really good
Let
in
me
it.
sell them a ice cream machine.
Okay. So you saw it, right? It's the so I like that. I Ezra Miller kind of I don't find him likable, and I didn't. He at the same time I thought he did a good job. Like I said, giving the two the two Barry Allens different personalities. He actually did a great job of that, but I didn't like either of them as characters. So it was hard, but at still at the same time he was funny. I didn't know like it was interesting. He's a weird dude. The character is a weird dude in this, and I like that's kind of cool, but at the same time he's not a likable weird dude. You know, I can understand that's an interesting angle or a different way to push these things, push like these superhero movies into an interesting directing. It's like this guy is kind of, he's not like, he's socially awkward as fuck. Sorry, and you know, and that's very interesting to have a superhero is like that. But I think you still have to either have some likability or you at least love to hate him, and none of those. I just didn't like him, and it could be the actor, it could be the character. I don't know what it is. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the things. While this movie, I found it funny. I enjoyed the ride, going along with it. Why I didn't hate it, but that's why I think why I didn't love it was, you know, it's just I didn't love him.
Yeah.
And,
well, where can I start?
okay.
Well, let's see. Well, that people looking at this review might not understand. Guess what? I don't get the.
You don't like the Flash.
No, but he put the baby in the microwave, but immediately it's for protection.
Right.
So
it wasn't.
I don't.
It wasn't a working microwave.
Yeah.
But it's like a tasteless joke, a baby in a microwave. It's like, let's do this as a visual gag. But
no, the tasteless joke would have been
water.
to do like a Carrie scene, and then everybody go plug it up, plug it up, plug it up. About the
Carrie is one of those movies I've never really watched all the way through because it scared the shit out of me as a kid. So sorry.
Well,
no, the reference.
Well, plugging it in the socket and plug up the microwave.
Ryan, you're probably lost as I am on that. Well, I don't know.
Well, anyway, first off, let me say, I have never cared for the Flash as a character. He just didn't seem to have a purpose, especially in Superman's
realm.
Yeah, his realm, his universe.
Superman around. What purpose?
You know, you didn't need the Flash. But okay, so you had the Flash because that actually, it's Superman. You don't need anybody else. But anyway.
Well, the Flash's power. When you brought this up, I wasn't, I didn't dislike the Flash. I really enjoyed the first season of the Flash TV series on the CW. Mm-hmm. The first season was pretty good. After that, I lost interest. But
yes.
But you bring up a good point. You're like, well, his superpower isn't that interesting.
Yeah.
And on the TV series, he runs
fast and pushes people. Yeah, that's a superhero.
But if you hit somebody, you're going at high speed and you bang into somebody.
Yeah.
But anyway.
But he already said he doesn't like that. In Justice League.
But he can displace his molecules and go through walls. Is that where Lois and Clark got that from? Or did they get it from there? Did they get that from?
They got that from the old Steve McQueen movie, 3D Man.
Oh, I've never heard of that one.
Oh yeah, that's an old horror movie.
Wow. Okay, but yeah, I like in the Flash TV series. I mean, they use his powers well to make sense and do a lot of different things. In this, I saw the weakness what you said, why you didn't like his superpower. It's like, this is, yeah, it's kind of, and they kind of make fun of that. Like, all the other heroes are off doing the big saves, and they have him, like, doing the cleanup or whatever.
Yeah.
They're like, he's like the last person they call and stuff.
Yes.
Because,
I mean, I even
not to
like
do the
I even
glamour
like
hero roles.
I even like Batman's superpower better.
oh, he doesn't have one.
He's rich.
But in this movie, because there are times he's just standing around doing nothing. And there's two of them standing around doing nothing, where particularly at the end battle, where all this stuff is going on, all this battle is going on, Supergirl's out there fighting, and they're just kind of standing there. I guess because they have all the time in the world because they're so fast, but it's boring.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, wow, that really exposed the weakness of a character with that type of power. If you can't use it in interesting ways.
Well, one of the things, and Ryan, tell me if you saw this or thought it, or it even, came to you in this way. In Justice League, he kept saying, I'm a Jewish boy. I'm Jewish. He said it 3 or 4 times.
Oh, really?
Well, in The Flash, he didn't say it, but they kind of leaned into it that he was Spanish.
Oh, right. His mom was a Latina.
Yeah, Latino.
Yeah. So,
which I like that. I like when they do stuff like that.
Yeah, but going from the two, now you've changed it right there on screen.
We just talked about a black mermaid, and you go talk about you can't accept the Flash being half Spanish, half Hispanic or Latino.
No, I didn't say half. He didn't mention half. He, like I said, in Justice League, he did a hard I'm Jewish.
Okay, he's like claiming a certain background.
I do like that the ethnic backgrounds of some of these superheroes, they're changing or even becoming, but it seemed that in the same realm, all of a sudden, click. It's like no, that's
okay. So you're talking about the movie, the Justice League movie. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe it's an alternate universe.
No, they had enough of that in that bowl.
In the bowl.
Well, now don't get me wrong. The actor, I don't like him at all.
Okay.
I even thought from the Justice League he was a terrible actor. I'll
disagree with
that. I
that.
thought he was terrible as the Flash. And from things that he said, he made the Flash very weak.
Oh, real life stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
I already thought the Flash as a character was kind of a weak character, was kind of a weak hero. And boy, did he make him one.
Well, beside that, did you have something, Ryan? Why don't you go ahead?
I was just going to ask, did you feel that way about his depiction of the Flash in the Snyder cut of Justice League, or just the theatrical movie?
Yes.
4 hour? Okay.
Both.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I will say, like, he didn't bother me. I liked him in the Justice League and the other films because it's small doses. It's one of those things where, because he's kind of the comic relief, he comes in with the line, it's funny, it works in those movies because you just get a little bit of him. But him in a whole movie, and like I said, it's a character that's, I like the concept of this socially awkward, weird dude as a superhero, but the execution, because it just, like I said, you either have to have some likability or you have to love to hate them, and if you just dislike them, it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
And so that was me. I want to talk about Supergirl. I like, as you said, right? She could have used some more development.
Screen time.
screen time and development because she just comes across as angry. Well, I guess she was up imprisoned all that time. She'd be pissed off too. Yeah. But I wish she would have had more time to shine, and other than just being kind of just.
I would have really liked to see her more developed.
Yeah.
But the movie was called The Flash, not Supergirl.
That is true. That is true. But other things, the CGI. It wasn't that great. I mean, these movies are big CGI extravaganzas. I've gotten used to it. You're just going to get all this stuff thrown at you. That is not worth complaining about too much. And the end, with the CGI Superman. Yeah, why didn't they? Now that you bring up, like, they did have George Reeve in there, who's a TV Superman, but they didn't bring in a TV Flash.
Right.
But they didn't bring in all the TV Superman either. With good reason. But, the choice I want to get to the choice, the Nicolas Cage of it all. Because, I mean, that was one thing. There was another thing, and I can't think of what it is, but that was one thing. It's like, are people going to know what this is reference to? Why is Nicolas Cage dressed as Superman in this movie?
Because
I think most people, it's just going to be this.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
I just kept thinking, oh, look, they got Elvis as Superman.
They got Elvis as Superman. Because you go George Reeve, you got Christopher Reeve, you have Supergirl, what her name is? Helen Slater. Then you skip to
I thought
Nick
that
Cage.
was Christina Reeves.
No. Jesus. This is another thing that came up before our review. Peter is not a fan of the original Superman movies.
Oh.
Isn't that... Dude. Yes.
Yeah, with Christopher Reeves, I didn't like any of them.
Wow.
I know!
Oh, my. Are you for real? Oh, I can't believe that.
I know how you feel, Ryan.
Classic.
I know. Anyway, somebody has to not like them, right? But anyway, but to go back to my point, to go from all these, we're like, oh yeah, there's the nostalgia. Oh yeah, George Reeve, yeah, everybody, and then throw in Nicolas Cage, and it's like, what? Why? I mean, unless if you knew what it was in reference to, maybe you thought that was cool. It's just such an oddball thing. Why not throw in the current Superman on TV, who's doing a great job, I think, or our Tom Welling or something. Because you're doing the ones people are familiar with, and then to just
Well, the thing is, the best thing about Christopher Reeves is that
it's Reeve.
Is that all of the strong men characters, Hercules, Superman, all of them were Reeves.
All of them were Reeves?
Yeah, or something like that.
What? Well, you had George Reeves and Christopher Reeve.
And you had, what was Hercules' name?
I don't know.
He was a Reeves.
I don't remember Hercules.
I don't know.
Yeah. Look it up, people. Look it up.
All right. He's going back to something. So it was such an odd choice, and like,
Yeah, you know what? I told you what I didn't like about him.
What?
That just turned me off. He floated.
Oh, we got to get into a whole different Superman video now. Because this is not here. He doesn't like that. He was talking about Henry Cavill. He liked the Henry Cavill Superman portrayal until he floated.
Yeah.
Because
Superman doesn't even fly. He leaps.
Since when?
Golden Age he did.
In the Gold Sea there. He's been flying for like...
I'm 66 years old. I am from the Golden Age.
He probably hasn't leaped in about 66 years. Yeah, we'll have to get into that some other time. Yeah. Mine is blown. My mind is blown too about that. So let's get back into this.
Okay.
That odd choice to have Nicolas Cage in there, and I don't know who was supposed to think that was cool. I hated the idea of Nicolas Cage playing Superman back then, so I didn't need it in this movie at all.
The hair and the cape flowed at the same rate.
Anyway.
But that's the deep cut they were making. They were referencing,
Yeah.
to the time Nick Cage was supposed to play Superman in the late 90s for Tim Burton. But of course, the movie never got made.
Right.
And it eventually became Superman Returns with Brandon Routh. But that's kind of the joke. And if you know Kevin Smith's famous rant, who was supposed to have done the script for that movie, where Nick Cage was supposed to be fighting a giant spider, metal spider. That's why you have the giant spider in the movie.
Right.
I think it was under pressure from producer John Peters, as I remember right, was Kevin Smith's big rant. And we later see the giant spider in Wild Wild West, I think it is, with Will Smith, which is produced by John Peters.
He got his giant spider in there.
Metal spider.
So, I get the joke and stuff like that. And I guess there's a lot of jokes in this movie. But it's just like, you're hitting this whole nostalgia point, and then they throw in,
And they should have had the spider slap Supergirl.
Yeah, well, like I said, no. Oh, Jesus. Sometimes, I don't know why I even bother. But anyway, anything else on The Flash? Most likely we will not be seeing another one. It'll be interesting going forward to see what DC's going to do. I mean, this is part of the old regime.
Yes.
Is it going to hurt them launching anything new or trying anything new? A lot of people are like, DC is dead now.
Well, I want to ask Ryan something, because Ryan is a Superman fan.
Yes.
And I like that. He does explain DC characters very well to me.
more thoroughly than I did.
I'm just not a DC fan except for Batman, really.
Okay.
Okay. So, when the Flash's father is asked to go to the store, and that will be his alibi, because of course they figure he's going to be seen on camera, and they work it out to whereas yes, he's seen on camera, but they say the reason he's in for killing his wife was that, which was mistaken, he didn't kill her, was that the way they seem to bring it is that she actually stabbed herself on accident. Now, they also kind of mention that, well, somebody could have, a burglar could have came into the house and stabbed her.
Mm-hmm.
But either way, she was not dead when the father got home.
Okay.
So how does the grocery store camera videotape exonerate
him? If she wasn't dead, well, she wasn't. She was already stabbed when he got home.
Yes, but a coroner's report won't say
what time.
What time she was stabbed. It would only say when she died.
Okay.
Well,
she wasn't dead at the time? She didn't die at the home.
She died. She died at the home. But when Barry came there, she was still alive, starting to die, and that's how the father got his prints on the knife, because he didn't know whether to take it out or not. But he was touching the handle.
Well, I guess what the movie wants to do is show that by having the father on film, when Barry adjusts the camera at the end, that it shows that time-wise, that's supposed to be evidence that he wasn't at home at the time that the attack occurs. And I guess
Right.
that's supposed to help exonerate him.
There wouldn't have been enough time for him to stab her and then take the knife. I don't know.
Stabbed.
But he was at the store when she got stabbed, right? You know.
But in a coroner's report, nothing tells you
That the time she got
the
stabbed,
time she
only
got
the time of
stabbed,
death.
only the time of death.
Well, you've given this a lot more thought than me.
I know. I wasn't that deep in that thinking about this movie or the Flash in general. But oh my gosh. So anyway, any final thoughts? Let's wrap this up. Any final thoughts? Go see it. Don't go see it.
Don't go see it.
It's a funny movie. There's some funny stuff in this, but
Well,
I thought,
you know what? You know what would make this movie great? Cut about an hour out of it.
okay.
Oh,
Yeah. If you don't have a lot of those scenes in the bowl, if you don't have a lot of Barry coming and going before he even went in the house, there's a lot of time in that movie that could have been cut off.
Well, there's a lot of time he's just kind of like standing around watching everybody else do stuff. And I'm like, ew, what am I watching?
But they're not doing anything.
And I mean, it's just kind of generic battle scenes going on, which it's, yeah.
Well, I'll tell you something that I did like.
But
Zod is in it.
Zod is in it, yeah, okay.
yeah.
He has probably
still
about
like
4 or
Terrence
5
Stamp
more
better, but-
more scenes than they needed to actually show him in. I would have liked to seen that battle.
He doesn't say kneel before Zod. What kind of Zod doesn't say kneel before
I know.
Zod? Come on.
You know,
And anyway, let's wrap that up. So that's The Flash. Go see it or not. I don't know. It sounds like most people are not. We'll wait till it comes on Max because they have all the WB stuff or not. No, but let us know what you think in the comments. It's maybe a divisive, controversial music. I didn't hate movie music. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. I don't need to see it again.
the best part of the movie was when he was gonna play when he placed the tomato paste in the basket, and when he realized he had to take it away. That was
That
the
was
best,
the best
part of the movie.
Any final thoughts for you, Ryan?
Yeah, I just a couple of ideas occurred to me about why this thing may have tanked at the box office.
Uh-huh.
One I think is because there's some people just that are not fans of Ezra Miller,
Yeah.
and done in real life, and so they weren't interested. Warner Brothers even tried to kind of hide it by not having him do any press. Like Sasha Kaye was doing all the press for the film. And then I think a second thing was, there might be a sort of superhero fatigue ever since Avengers Endgame.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at a lot of other superhero films, like Marvel has kind of struggled a bit to find their way, and so has DC. Since the bubble bursting of Avengers Endgame.
Yes.
You can look at certain other movies that have struggled, like Black Adam struggled, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania has struggled, Shazam, Fury of the Gods struggled. I think last year Thor, Love and Thunder struggled.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So there's been a lot of movies that have performed poorly at the box office. There's been a few exceptions, like Guardians of the Galaxy 3 and Across the Spider-Verse that have done well.
They're doing well because they're better movies than any of those.
That's probably.
I don't think they're kind of like going by, just put a bunch of superheroes in the film, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a good movie anymore.
Right.
You
Yeah,
know?
that's definitely the key factor.
You're getting a lot of mediocre.
The last thing I think is that for people who are DC fans, there really wasn't a point to see this movie because you knew everything was getting rebooted. I think that was part of the problem with Shazam! Fury of the Gods. It was like, well, what's the point of seeing this when we know this is all going to get wiped out? It means nothing in the long term. And this doesn't bode well. DC has 2 more movies before the new Superman movie with James Gunn. They have a Blue Beetle movie.
James Gunn is going to be
and
Superman?
2 movie.
No, he's directing Superman. Right?
Yeah, he's writing and directing the
Yeah.
new Superman film.
But he's not going to have Henry Cavill in it.
He
Nope.
can have who he wants.
Only Superman.
They're rebooting. Yeah.
Yeah, they're starting from scratch.
I like Superman's boots.
You don't even like the Superman movie, so you have no say in anything.
They just stop him from floating.
But it just I have a feeling the next 2 movies, Blue Beetle and Aquaman 2, aren't going to do well.
Oh,
Which I
no.
think would be sad for Blue Beetle because you're going to have a Latino hero, which you don't have a lot of. You know,
They had the
amongst
previews
sort of
for that,
mainstream
yeah.
comic book heroes. So I have a bad feeling that those movies are going to tank as well.
Oh, yeah.
Who's
But-
doing?
and also,
Is it the
you know,
same
James
director
Gunn
for Aquaman 2 as for Aquaman 1? Do you know? I have to look it
I
up.
believe so. What's his name?
James, he's a good. I like him though. He was like a horror director and I like what he did with Aquaman.
James Gunn did horror?
No, the guy who
No.
did Aquaman. I'll continue. I'll look it up there.
Yeah, James Wan. I think.
James
is his
Wan,
name.
yeah.
Wan or something. Yeah. But yeah, I was just gonna say that that I think it didn't help that James Gunn had said, well, this movie was also going to reset the DC universe going forward. But once you watch the film, there's not really any significant ramifications or consequences
That's
for
true.
how this sets the new direction for the new DC universe going forward.
Yes, there
I-
was.
they had granted
When
opportunity to do
when
that. They didn't.
Batman showed up, when Bruce Wayne showed up.
Which
Yeah,
one?
Well, that's the consequences.
Yeah, but George Clooney isn't going to be playing the new Batman in the new DC universe.
Well, then what was he doing in The Flash?
That's what I'm
That was a-
saying.
well-
There's no consequence of how this sets the new DC universe. They probably should have.
They shouldn't have said that because this was a. If they were gonna cap off anything, they shouldn't have said anything about this launching the new DC universe. They should have just left it because this is a good way to close out the old one. That was a funny thing to have him walk up. And
That
kind of like
was
cast
funny.
off. Okay, now yeah, we're gonna wrap up. We had the old Batmans, the old Supermans. We're going. Let's put a bookend on all of that that's come before, with this movie.
But wait a minute.
Even Nicolas Cage. We're going all new.
But is Affleck going to be Batman?
I don't know.
No.
No.
I liked him as Batman.
Did you like him as Batman in this one?
No,
Yeah.
because they messed it up.
Okay.
So they'll be getting a whole new Batman.
They should have had Clooney.
A whole new Wonder Woman. Oh, it was nice
With-
to see
with
Wonder
the
Woman in
nipple
this too.
suit.
I agree. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I did like seeing Wonder Woman. in this
Yeah,
movie.
and the whole lasso of truth. They had a joke about that. No.
That was, I thought
Yeah.
that was a great cameo.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
And why they're taking the best Wonder Woman
Yeah.
and just tossing
She
her
was great
away.
as Wonder Woman.
Yeah. Sadly, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's what they're gonna do. They got the big bucks to do it. They're not. They're not. What are you else gonna do? I don't know. But anyway, so let's just wrap this up. That's the Flash. Fury of Peter. In movie theaters out. Let us know what you think in the comments. This is very interesting. I can't wait to see other reviews on this movie. What they have to say. So we are out. Thank you, Ryan, for joining us again. And we will work on Peter and the Superman thing. I'm flummoxed. Okay, we're out. We out.